See, if you see in India, uh, buses have traditionally played a very important role in enabling public mobility. But over a period of time, their role has reduced because of several issues. One of the key issue was lack of technology, lesser buses, and the consumer found it very inconvenient to take up buses, and as a result of which people looked at alternate mobility or private mobility. Now, under this whole focus of electric mobility, and electric mobility could be both metro-based or bus-based. And let me first pick up the bus part. India has more than 150,000 buses plying across various key cities under various STUs. And we are right now at a stage where less than 5 to 7% of our buses have been converted to electric buses. So there is a large opportunity to convert these old, dilapidated, quite risky buses, which are also uncomfortable and creating pollution in Indian cities. So the first thing is that there is a transition opportunity for us to move towards much more cleaner form of mobility. The process has just begun. We've just done 5-10% of our buses which are now as electric buses. So there's a huge opportunity for us to really open up the market around electric mobility. The challenge for a large country like ours is a we're very few suppliers of electric mobility, especially on the public mobility side. So we just have 2-3 big vendors which is there. How do we open up to much more suppliers over there? So that's one very critical thing for our country because the market is really large. The second issue in our country for electric mobility to really do well is that the financing needs to, kind of be very clear, and the capital market banks in our country need to start thinking about it and solving for it. Because right now, you can very easily take loan for a diesel car or a diesel bus, but not for electric buses. Very few banks have started it. SBI has recently started trying to do that. And unless we meet the financing gap, we will need to, we will have a problem around, who will finance this large scale transformation. So that's the second big, issue for us to really enable electric mobility in our country. I think the third thing which we really need is the recreation of transport infrastructure in cities because electric mobility has its own needs. So electric mobility requires charging infrastructure. It needs alignment with energy infrastructure. It needs to run on certain, types of, I would say, routes that we need to focus upon over there. And that bit of planning and capacity in our city folks, because imagine that we are ending up giving a much more sophisticated product to our municipal corporations, to our STUs, who may not be able to run and manage that. And that capacity building would be also very important. Just to summarize, the point I'm making is electric mobility has a huge potential. It would be one of the largest market for our country, both from a business side and also from an impact side. Only thing is if we can have, take care of the supplier limitations, which is very few suppliers, if we can think about, the right kind of charging infrastructure and an ecosystem where these buses can ply, and thinking about financing this, we are on to a very, very big story amongst, all the sectors that have come to our country, and electric mobility will be a very large sector in our country.